to Resilience Plus Rise, the podcast where resilience is not just a concept, but a lived experience. I'm your host, Thomas Carrier, a resilience coach, an ultramarathoner, and a relentless believer in the human spirit's ability to rise. This podcast is a companion to my book, Resilience Plus Rise 26.2 Transformative Miles to Unleash Your Marathon of Life Mindset. Each episode is a raw, unfiltered dive into the stories of those who have faced life's hardest battles. Maybe not, but have emerged stronger where they are currently. Today, I'm absolutely excited to introduce to you Eric Ayers. He considers himself to be a innovation catalyst and an optimist and a thought leader. His passion is very simple: to inspire or to reach an understanding of their own potentiality. He says, and yes, he's a human centric ideator. He's a coach, he's a consultant. So, without much ado, Eric, welcome to Resilience Plus Rise, the podcast.
Oh, Thomas, thank you so much, man. It's a pleasure to be here. And I think I'm going to have to hire you to introduce me to all my networking gigs. That was awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah, Eric, it's something like saying the sun is saying, can you introduce me that I shine brightly? You are.
Love that. Love that. Thank you. Yeah, it's an absolute honor to be here. Thank you.
So, Eric, there's a lot of hats that you wear around. And but one of the things which has caught my attention specifically when I'm looking at your background, apart from the fact that Albert Einstein is taking over your wall, is something that you have been doing and which you're passionate about, because I've gone through LinkedIn and I've seen what you do. And guys, I will be putting out Eric's connection on in our comments below. So if this conversation does touch a chord or your vibe, do reach out to him. So you've got SimRx at the back.
Yes.
What's the story behind that?
Oh, it's a long story, so we'll condense it a bit. Working in healthcare, I was that burned out nurse. And so my story is how I reconnected with my passion and my purpose. And in the middle of that, I began coaching people and didn't even realize I was coaching it. I was ultimately shifting perspectives because my wife shifted my perspective or gave me permission to shift perspective.
Beautiful.
So I'm at work one night. I'm a charge nurse in the emergency department, and a nurse comes up to me and says, "Hey, I'm about to do a procedure I haven't done in a few months. Do we have anything I can practice on before I do this?" And I'm like, "No, we don't. Why don't we? Why don't we have the ability to practice before we go in on this patient?" And so that was the birth of SimRx. And it was the idea of we all learn through experience, no matter what it is. And so the bicycle analogy comes into play all the time in my mind of we have this bicycle paradox of we can read about how to ride a bicycle, we can watch videos, we can listen to lectures, all these things, but until we actually ride the bicycle, we will never actually know how to ride the bicycle.
True.
So how do we create this scale of education to where it's readily available? And this can be hands-on, super simple. Within 2 to 5 minutes, I can now bridge all of the knowledge gaps that I have before I go in and practice on this patient. So that was the birth of SimRx. And then that led into how do we scale this into full-blown culture shifts within healthcare by taking the systems that are broken and reconstructing them with the humans they were meant to serve. And that's the premise of SimRx.
Fantastic. You mentioned a statement which just got me a little more interested. You got burnt out. For And when you say that particular word burnt out, I have a statement time and again when I say in my podcast on my podcast is out of our deepest of pains comes our deepest of purpose.
Mm.
It is paraphrased from Rumi, where it comes in from our deepest of wounds comes the bright shines the brightest of light. So you are in a space wherein you were already serving people, but it came to a point wherein you had to pivot, and that's when you realize what your purpose was. Do you want to say something? Take us on to that particular path.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for bringing Rumi into this. Rumi was a huge part of my journey. I absolutely love Rumi. That quote, ah, thank you. Um, so yes, burnout is it looks different for different people, but the feeling is very similar. What I found through coaching, the feeling is very similar, and it's that misalignment, imbalance, like not feeling like we have purpose.
Mhm.
And mine was because I was throwing my purpose into knowing my job so well and doing the job so perfect and advancing in the skills that once I got to the highest level of skills, then what? During that whole process, I've sacrificed self this entire time, sacrificed family, sacrificed the things that actually bring me joy and purpose and peace and who I'm here to be. So it's almost like burnout is the thing that was reflecting back in the mirror because it really was a reflection of I have no idea who you are. And it's because this burnout was saying, I'm here to show you, like, get back on track. There's a better way. And so my wife, I mentioned she helped flip my perspective. She asked me to look for something good at work one night. And I was like, you're crazy. Okay. And I always preface this with saying I worked at a children's hospital.
Okay.
It is the most amazing job someone can have because goodness and love is everywhere. But for some reason, I wasn't looking for it. So therefore, I wasn't finding it. Well, that night, I heard her voice right before I walked into a room. And I hear her saying, Eric, look for something good. And I'm like, fine. And so I walk in and I met with this energy of this 4-year-old that I couldn't describe. I couldn't put a name of the energy, but I knew it was good. Like it was so good, it invited me in, and I was like, wait a minute, did my wife know something I didn't, you know? And then this child's dad started talking to me, and it was the same energy from this tall, masculine representation of humanity. And I'd never felt that before. And fast forward, it was love, unconditional love presented in two different ways that was so dang inviting that yeah, it shifted everything. Like that night was the pivotal moment into wait a minute, I do find what I'm looking for. I didn't understand it at the time.
Mhm.
I just knew that this was way better than what I experienced yesterday. How do I get more of this today and tomorrow and moving forward? And that began my marathon. So that was my step one for those 26 plus miles, right? Into that direction.
Wonderful, wonderful. And again, going through some of the writings that you have put across and looking at a few of the articles, taking the cornerstone of burnout, taking the anchor of spreading love and helping people in their potentiality. You have already seen a wide spectrum of people coming to you in different ways. What would be around 4 to 6 steps that you like I was asking you about the around 4 to 6 steps that you believe can help a person. You were fortunate to see that 4-year-old kid, though you would have passed that kid and many alike, and you just existed
Yes,
of getting your work done. And there's a statement that I say is that life is for living, not for existing. And
absolutely.
that night, suddenly you realize there's more to life. In the same way, you would have met so many people in the journey. So, what would be around 4 to 6 thoughts that comes to your mind on for people to go further than where they are existing?
Absolutely. What a great question, because this brings in intentionality. Because I didn't get to this place being intentional, saying, I want to become this out of shape, like super tired, unwell person. I never said that. That wasn't intentional. So first and foremost, we have to bring intentionality into that. And that's why I love about structures, about, here's a 4-step process. It's not about the process, because the process can shift. It's about being intentional, understanding I'm out of alignment and how do I get back into alignment, right? So first of all is recognition. And my recognition was the mirror. And so I'm going to offer that as the first suggestion, is look in the mirror and identify this person that is looking back at you. And if it doesn't feel in alignment, one of the greatest things that I was ever introduced to by Louise Hay is, I love you, Eric. I really love you. Saying that in the mirror sounds weird, feels weird. Keep doing it. Do it every day until you actually believe it and feel it. And there's something about looking at yourself, because that's ultimately who we've forgotten about in this whole process. That's who I forgot about in the process. So saying, I love you, I forgive you. Let's realign. So step 1 is reconnecting with self, right? Step 2, I would say, is breathe. Because as these negative emotions are coming in, we're going to have feelings of, wait a minute, this feels off. Like, no. We've been in survival mode for so long. We don't want to get out of this hiding spot. So breathe it out. Be intentional about the breath. Follow the breath in, follow it out. A colleague of mine and a friend of mine says, I hear breathing is going to be a thing one day. Like, breathing is really good. It allows us to let in the newness and let out and let go of everything else. And then the next step, I think, is extremely crucial. It's identifying and asking yourself, what do I want? And when I shift the narrative to I'm showing up as an existence and as a kind of a construct of what the environment is offering me, instead of believing that I create my path, myself, my current situation, it shifts. So when I say, what do I want? It automatically realigns to, oh, yeah, I don't want where I'm going. What is it that I actually want? And then after that, what's the one thing I can do to take that step in that direction? And once we do that, it doesn't matter where we end up. All we know is we've taken one step towards that direction, and then the journey will work itself out. I think it was Kobe Bryant told his daughter, whatever dream you have, be the best at it. Get up before everyone else. If it's basketball, work out before everyone else. Put the time in. Do more than everyone else. And all of a sudden, one day you will realize, wait a minute, this is the dream. Because the journey becomes the purpose. And that is, I think, what we miss, because I would be like, I don't know what my purpose is in life. Oh, it's simply and profoundly to be me in every situation. And that could be, I could be watering seeds. I could be planting seeds. I could be whatever the process, but that's not up for me to decide. I'm just simply being me. And from that, my alignment is in alignment with the people that I'm interacting with. So long way to say that would be my first 4 is look yourself in the mirror and have a conversation. And yes.
So that's so, guys, there's so many nuggets in this short spiel that he had just mentioned, Eric. Because again, there is a problem over here, is that a lot of people, they are so blinded by an acceptance and acknowledgement of where they are, because the blind comes from the social environment, or what they believe that they have to do, and they
Yes.
lose the track about what is really the goal. And for them it becomes I mean, a lot of people have spoken as a coach again, is that it's the materialistic values, etc. But then when you move your focus away from that and being true to your own self, which you mentioned, that
Mhm.
changes the entire trajectory. And another one which you mentioned is that about taking care and loving yourself. In fact, the holy book does say love your neighbor and as yourself.
Yes.
People forget that. People
Yes.
forget that. And yes, they do love themselves about the clothes they wear, the house they have, the cars they drive, etc., etc. But again, that being you has another evolution.
Hmm.
Another question which comes up is that you mentioned that you're rebranding yourself. What is the shift about?
It's
If you're,
all
if it's okay for you to talk about it.
yes, absolutely. So I'm a person who kind of journeys both sides of the spectrum. The spiritual world is my personal journey that allows me to offer the innovation to the world, right? And so in doing that, it was a split of which spectrum am I best able to offer? So from an organizational side for the innovation, the SimRx, like what prescription can we prescribe to offer the education specific for your needs? We can go that route. But on the other side, as a one-on-one coaching aspect, for example, someone who wants to go through 6 weeks of a journey of transformation, that's a different specialty, and they're both from self-lived, but that brings a different core aspect to the table. So ultimately the rebranding is the splitting of these so I can
Mhm.
fully pay attention to each instead of continually to muddy the water, so to speak, of diving in and out. And it can allow me to be me in the situation fully. So my business is EMC squared. It's essential, meaningful, collaborative consulting, and that's everything that I do. And from that, I have Life by Design, which is my coaching, and then the EMC squared is by itself is the consulting side, which brings in the human centric innovation and human centric consulting,
Okay.
specifically within healthcare systems.
Beautiful. Okay. So, guys, if any of this particular thing is resonating, whether you are in health environment or not, but if you want to just push your boundaries to get into something more that you're meant to be, you know the person to contact. Just being mindful of the time, Eric, is that if there is a parting thought that you would like to mention to the listeners, what would that be?
Of two combined into one large idea is so burnout is lonely. Burnout is secondary to survival mode. And when we are surviving, we are actually isolating ourselves from the world. That is not a place for us to be. That is not a place where we thrive because we are social beings. Whether we're
Mhm.
introverted or extroverted, that's not the discussion. We are meant to be with other people.
True.
So from that, continuing to isolate ourselves creates more of the feeling of burnout and more misalignment. It also takes us away from the what I believe to be the foundation of everything I do, which is Ubuntu, the South African term
Yes.
for yeah,
True.
okay, for I am because we are. And if we embody the fact of I am because of every influence that I've had from other people and everyone that I've come in contact with has been influenced by me.
Mhm.
If we can get into this understanding, oh, purpose is now becoming visible because part of our purpose is to be part of humanity, to be part of Ubuntu, of I am because we are, and we are because I am. And So I offer this to say, if you are feeling burned out, seek people. Don't live this in isolation. Seek coaches, seek friends, seek people to help bridge this gap between isolation and coexisting and cohabitating and co-creation, because that's what we do together is we co-create. And when we can get to co-creation, Ubuntu is infused within us, and then we cannot do anything except change the world for good.
Wonderful. Absolutely. I say it in another way is that, again, guys, burnout is not specific to, I mean, just one or two people. It can happen to you, me, anybody. During those moments, it's not to be shy about reaching out. It's your own thought process. Are people going to look about you in a little less manner? But then you got to think, who is losing in that? Because again, yes, we all are angels with broken wings. When we hold another, that's when we fly higher.
Absolutely.
Okay, so seek out. Eric, that has been a beautiful journey with a lot of profound nuggets, a lot of value. And guys, here we have who is an individual who believes in human-centric involvement, creating a humanity-based environment, pushing your potentials to the next side. Eric, with this, I say thank you for your time and space. It has been a beautiful conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Absolute honor.